Welcome to Too Fond of Books. My name is Janelle and this is a Murder Mystery Monday. For today's mystery recommendation, I want to go with a Louise Penny, but I am not going with the first book in the series. I want to recommend The Beautiful Mystery, which is number 8 in her Armand Gamache series set in Quebec here in Canada. Now, I probably should have gone with number 1, but I love this particular entry in this series, so I want to talk about this one. The Armand Gamache series is one that should be read in order because there are certain plot points that go over multiple books. But I wanted to talk about The Beautiful Mystery because I really love where this one takes place and the fact, like, kind of some of the plot and the bits in here. I just really like this one in the series, so this is the one that I'm going to recommend. Okay, no outsiders are ever admitted to the monastery of Saint Gilbert entre les Loups, hidden deep in the wilderness of Quebec, where 24 cloistered monks live in peace and prayers. Ironically, for a community that has taken a vow of silence, the monks have become world famous for their glorious voices, raised in ancient chants whose effect on both singer and listener is so profound it is known as the Beautiful Mystery. But when the renowned choir director is murdered, the lock on the monastery's massive wooden door is drawn back to admit Chief Inspector Armand Gamache and Jean-Guy Beauvoir of the Sûreté du Québec. There they discover disquiet beneath the silence, discord in the apparent harmony. But before finding the killer, before restoring peace, the chief must first consider the divine, the human, and the cracks in between. Now, as far as I can remember, I think this book just deals with this particular mystery. I don't know that there's too much of the other plot, but it's been a while, so I can't remember for sure. That's one of the reasons why I think it's okay to talk about this one. This one was published in 2012. And I'm going to read not from the prologue, but from chapter 1. As the last note of the chant escaped the blessed chapel, a great silence fell, and with it came an even greater disquiet. The silence stretched on and on. These were men used to silence, but this seemed extreme, even to them. And still they stood in their long black robes and white tops, motionless, waiting. These were men also used to waiting, but this too seemed extreme. The less disciplined among them stole glances at the tall, slim, elderly man who had been the last to file in and would be the first to leave. Dom Philippe kept his eyes closed. Where once this was a moment of profound peace, a private moment with his private God, when vigils had ended and before he signaled for the Angelus, now it was simply escape. He closed his eyes because he didn't want to see. Besides, he knew what was there, what was always there, what had been there for hundreds of years before he arrived and would, God willing, be there for centuries after he was buried in the cemetery. 2 rows of men across from him, in black robes with white hoods, a simple rope tied at their waists, and beside him, to his right, 2 more rows of men. They were facing each other across the stone floor of the chapel, like ancient battle lines. No, he told his weary mind. No, I mustn't think of this as a battle or a war, just opposing points of view, expressed in a healthy community. Why then was he so reluctant to open his eyes, to get the day going, to signal the great bells that would ring the Angelus to the forests and birds and lakes and fish and the monks, to the angels and all the saints, and God? A throat cleared. In the great silence it sounded like a bomb, and to the abbot's ears it sounded like what it was, a challenge. With an effort he continued to keep his eyes closed. He remained still and quiet, but there was no peace anymore. Now there was only turmoil, inside and out. He could feel it vibrating from and between the 2 rows of waiting men. He could feel it vibrating within him. Dom Philippe counted to 100, slowly. Then opening his blue eyes, he stared directly across the chapel to the short, round man who stood with his eyes open, his hands folded on his stomach, a small smile on his endlessly patient face. The The abbot's eyes narrowed slightly in a glare. Then he recovered and raised his slim right hand. He signaled, and the bells began. The perfect, round, rich toll left the bell tower and took off into the early morning darkness. It skimmed over the clear lake, the forests, the rolling hills, to be heard by all sorts of creatures. And 24 men in a remote monastery in Quebec. A clarion call. Their day had begun. So what I love about this is that the look we get into the music. I love the music aspect of this story. And also the cloistered aspect. We have Gamache and Jean-Guy Beauvoir come into this closed society and are trying to solve the murder. Two outsiders in a closed society, and I love that as well. So this is my recommendation for today. Let me know in the comment section if you have read any of Louise Penny's works. I would love to know. And also, do you know of any other mysteries that are like this, that are part where the mystery is in a closed community like this? Because there's that element of that closed circle, even a bit of that isolated, closed circle thing, which I really love, but it's slightly different, right? Like it's this closed community set apart from the outside world. So if you know any mysteries that are like that, I would love if you could let me know them in the comment section down below. And I will see you for another video soon. Oh, I was going to say, the music aspect of this book is so interesting, and so I would recommend, if you can get a hold of some Gregorian chants, to listen to that as you read this. I think would be such a great reading experience and really help you hear what it is that she's talking about in the books. I think that would be really great. Okay, so that's it for me, and I will see you in another video soon. Bye.